Nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time.
8:43 on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. It's Wednesday morning, and so it is time for our Ask the Doc segment. I would like to ask you, Dr. Stone, to pull your microphone just a little bit closer. There he is. It's like you're inspecting a dog's teeth, but not quite that close. Good morning. So you are from Canyon Country Veterinary Hospital, which is located on Soledad, right next to Regal Cinemas, in that Regal Cinema Center there. Mm-hmm. Already an exciting morning for you. But I want to talk a little bit about vaccinations because I don't know if I don't have any statistics on how many people probably don't vaccinate their animals, but a lot of times we're not quite sure why we have to do them in the first place. Let's say, for example, I have a cat. He's never left the home. He's been an indoor cat all his whole life, never been outside, and doesn't interact with other animals. So we have no other animals in the house. Doesn't have play dates or anything like that. Does that cat still need to be vaccinated?
We still do recommend to have them vaccinated for the feline upper respiratory disease. Basically, because they can still catch it if he never comes in contact with any other animals, his chances of catching it are lower, of course, but they can still catch it, and sometimes they can even be carriers of it if they were exposed previous to you having them. Right. They can still come out with that later in life.
And so, and especially though important, especially if your cat is an indoor-outdoor cat, which is, as you say, not necessarily recommended in Santa Clarita because there are so many hungry coyotes, wild animals and things like that. So that's important. What are the main shots that you need to consider for especially cats? We have the upper respiratory. What else is there?
Yeah, for cats, the upper respiratory profile is a FVRCP, or some people call it the 4-in-1. And then rabies. We recommend those two once a year. If your cat's going to be indoor-outdoor, it's good to also vaccinate them for FIV and feline leukemia because they can get exposed to that outside.
And this is kind of different because it's actually something that they can catch, or how does that work? Because we don't always know from a human standpoint, leukemia is just something that happens under different circumstances, right?
Yeah.
Just so that people are clear as to why they would
cats
do that.
Can actually catch feline leukemia from another cat through saliva. So if another cat comes into your home and they have feline leukemia and they're eating out of the same dish or they're grooming each other, they can actually pass it to one another.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah, and FIV is almost like the feline form of HIV, and they can catch that through if they get into a fight with another cat who has it. Bite wounds, scratch wounds, things like that. And
cats are definitely known, especially to be territorial when they're indoor-outdoor cats, to get in fights with other cats. So, and that's always another issue with letting your cats go outside, aside from the dangers of wild animals, is being out in the roads they don't always know to stay on the sidewalks, as well as getting in fights with other cats.
Definitely.
And especially, heaven forbid you don't spay or neuter them. That also causes problems. But that, of course, along with good pet care, is to make sure not only vaccinated but also spayed or neutered. We are talking with Dr. Stone from Canyon Country Veterinary Hospital. She is they are located, I should say, on Soledad, next to the Regal Cinemas. And you guys are also affiliated and owners of All Creatures Veterinary Center, which is a 24/7 pet clinic and animal hospital. So in case after hours, late at night, early in the morning, the dog eats something he's not supposed to, or something happens, or your cat gets in a fight in the middle of the night and comes home bloodied but unbowed, to make sure that you take them to All Creatures, or during the day, especially on this side of town, Canyon Country Veterinary Hospital. We need to do some traffic. We'll be right back after this. And we're back with Ask the Doc with Dr. Stone, veterinarian from Canyon Country Veterinary Hospital. And I was saying, you can always bring your dog if you want to. We're pet friendly here. What kind of dog do you have?
Good to know. He's a boxer English Springer Spaniel mix.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
They are so much fun. Boxers. They have such personality.
Oh yeah.
And how old is he?
He's about 5 years old.
Okay,
I
so-
rescued him last year.
So is he a little bit more mellow? Because some of those boxers really think they're boxers. Sometimes they'll knock stuff over. And
He's pretty hyper.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what, I've talked about this. I have 3 beagles, and people say, I'm thinking about getting a puppy. When do they start mellowing out? I said, maybe around 7, around the
Yeah.
age of 7. But we were talking about vaccinations and how the importance of them, especially for cats in the first segment. I want to talk about dogs because there are some similars, or rabies and things like that, but there are other vaccinations that dogs should have. And there's the one that always confuses me is Bordetella, and there are different ways to administer it. But why is it? Sometimes you just do it as a regular inoculation using a needle, a hypodermic needle, but sometimes you put it in the dog's nose. Is there
Yeah.
a difference?
The intranasal vaccine, I feel works better. The injectable vaccine we do use for certain dogs who, if they're aggressive and it's hard to kind of get in their face with the liquid.
Yeah, some of them really don't like that for some reason. I don't know why.
But yeah, Bordetella is an important vaccine because they can catch Bordetella. People call it kennel cough. They can catch it just from being exposed to another dog who was exposed to it, or from going to the park and sniffing the same area where another dog was. So you don't necessarily have to take them to the kennel for them to catch it.
Right.
They can catch it otherwise.
But also very important, though, if you regularly kennel your pets. And there are some kennels out here that will have sharing areas. They're not necessarily putting them in. And some of those are really cool because they have a lot more room for all the dogs, but even the same token, you're sharing.
Yeah.
with other animals, and a lot of most, if not all, kennels will require those.
Usually they do.
Yeah. So Bordetella. You also Bordetella, right? Am I saying it right? See, I can make it through. I don't know if I can make it through veterinary school, but you also have rabies, and what else?
The DHPP vaccine, the distemper parvo vaccine, is very, very important, especially in puppies. Pretty much any puppy can contract parvovirus if they're not fully vaccinated. So it's very dangerous, and they can actually die from parvo.
And speaking of puppies, it is a good idea when you get one to kind of keep them away from other dogs until they've had all their vaccinations, right?
Yeah, definitely. I usually recommend not to take them anywhere outside your home until after their 3rd shot.
Now, what happens? You're bringing a puppy into a home and you have other dogs that are already there. Do they need to stay apart, or what's the best way to do that?
If you have other dogs that are in your home and they've been vaccinated previously and they're healthy, then they're probably safe. But if the puppy's coming into your new home and the puppy has anything, there's a possibility they can give it to your dogs.
Right.
Usually older dogs, though, don't contract parvovirus or distemper as much as puppies do. Of course they can if they're unvaccinated. But
And puppies and kittens, they're a lot like babies. They're much more susceptible to these diseases and these afflictions than adults.
their immune system is not as built as older dogs.
Right,
So.
just little adorable things. Oh my gosh! All right, I go crazy. I love dogs. So that's really important. So again, don't slack off on the vaccinations. And even if your pets are at-home pets, they don't necessarily go out and interact. It's always good, especially to keep them updated, because you never know when that situation might change. You never know when their activities, especially if you have a dog that's starting to gain a lot of weight and you need to get them out on kind of an exercise regimen. The best way to do that, of course, is with walking. Just because you have a big yard, right, doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to go out and exercise on their own, correct?
Yeah, that's true.
They just look at as more places to lay around is what I've found when you have a large yard. Dr. Stone, it's been a pleasure. Always wish you the best. You're on your way to work now, right?
Yeah.
Canyon Country Veterinary Hospital on this side of town, Soledad Canyon Road, next to the Regal Cinemas. For all your pet care needs, you go in today and see Dr. Stone. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it. Time is 8:54. We'll be back with more after this.
This is Jen Gerard from Whitening Lightning. Our flagship product, the Super Booster Teeth Whitening Pen, is a revolutionary breakthrough in professional-grade home teeth whitening. Our teeth whitening pens and professional teeth whitening home kits allow users to whiten their teeth and get the results they want when they want. No hassle, no messy trays, and no tooth sensitivity. Get up to 10 shades whiter in just 10 days. Look for the Super Booster Whitening Pen by Whitening Lightning in the little black box. Go to whiteninglightning.com.
The KHTS Home and Garden Show and Emergency Expo returns to the Hyatt Regency Valencia March 29th and 30th. Mini of Valencia is a proud sponsor and will be showcasing our newest Mini lineup. All your favorites, the 2014 Mini Countryman, Mini Convertible, and coming soon, the new Mini Hardtop, the new Original. Preview them at the Home and Garden Show, or if you can't make it, go to Mini of Valencia on Creekside. Don't miss the KHTS Home and Garden Show and Emergency Expo March 29th and 30th at the Hyatt Regency Valencia, sponsored by Mini of Valencia.
Your hometown station, AM 1220, KHTS. Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos and memories.
The powerhouse fire continues to blaze and 30 homes have been destroyed.
Hello, I'm George Cummings with your SCV News Break.